Hey, what up, guys? This is Ryan with Brainstorms, and this is really a discussion about what is a write-off, and this is going to be a discussion in the broadest sense. Okay, so like if you're a CPA, don't email me, like that I missed a few details, because again, when it comes to taxes and tax planning, you really have to talk to a total professional, and there's all kinds of intricate details, and those details even change from year to year. But in the broadest sense, this is what a write-off really is, right? And we're going to use really round numbers and make some basic assumptions. And a write-off comes from the difference between being an employee and a business owner. So if you're an employee here, right, and a business owner, it's very possible that, let me write this here. It's possible that you make roughly the same amount, right? And that's where the write-off is so powerful for the business owner. So let's say, you're an employee and you're a principal of a school, right? And you make 100K a year. And then say you're a business owner and, you do whatever, you're a private tutor, or you're also in education, but you make 100K a year in the private world, right? Doing whatever you do. Now, what's interesting is the concept of taxes, right? And so the taxes are going to be the same for the taxable income. And again, the brackets are different, and this may not be exactly true, but let's say you are charged 30%, both guys, right? The principal of the high school is charged 30% in taxes, and so is this private owner. And so you'd say, well, 30% of 100K would be 30K, right? So this guy actually owes, in taxes, 30K. So you can take 30 grand off their income before it even gets to their bank account. They paid their 30% in taxes. And then after that, whatever, they buy stuff that they need, in their house or their life. They have paper, cell phone, computers, right? Whatever. And let's just pretend, these again are really rough numbers. Even gas in their car to get places, the car itself, right? And let's say that all came to, 50K. And now they're left with 20 in savings, right? So 30K was gone immediately to taxes. 50K was spent on expenses, all these random expenses, again, broadest sense. And then 20 is left over for, vacations or whatever. This is going to be for fun with their family or whatever, right? But now what's weird is if you're a business owner, these things here, right, if they are related to the business itself, these are called write-offs. Because if you own a business, isn't it true that you need paper, you need a cell phone, you need your computer, you need gas for your car, for meetings, all stuff? So what happens is, and this is the big power of this discussion, before you are taxed 30%, and we agree, you are taxed 30% of your income, but they don't even call this income. So of your 100K, 50, we agreed 50K was this amount for all this stuff, 50K comes off your taxable income. So this, in theory, according to the government, is gone. You didn't even make that money. That money went to paper, cell phone, computer, gas, cars, these sort of quote unquote write-offs. And now the only income you got as the business owner was 50K. Now watch how powerful. They don't tax 30% of the 100K. They only tax 30% of your income, right? So 30% of 50K would be $15,000. So your tax over here was $30,000 as an employee, but your tax here is $15,000. That's your tax. That's the difference. Now, if you took your 15K off of your right income, 58, you have left, right, for your family or whatever, 35K. That's the value. Here, the person made 100,000, paid 30% in taxes, 30K. 50 went to expenses, and then 20K for fun. Look at this powerful thing. The expenses came out first, then the rest was taxed, which was 50. You paid 15 grand in taxes, and then you had much more left off at the end of the year. And as far as like a discussion, philosophical or moral or ethical, that, hey, wait a minute, that's not fair. There really is a purpose for that. And the reason is sometimes you want to say like these mean business owners, but actually that really isn't true, because if you think about it, this business owner, what the government kind of implies is they're doing a service also to society, because isn't it true that if you have a job, some employer, unless you work for the government, which is the case of this principal, but maybe it's a private school, some employer gave you a job and wasn't that lucky. Without jobs, none of us would be working. Again, unless you're in the public sector. So the government really encourages business ownership. They want people to start businesses because let's say you have a guy named Joe. Joe could either take a job that's available, and that's fine, make money and help society, or Joe could start a business and provide jobs for 3 other people. Which would you prefer as a government? Joe taking a job that exists, which is good, there's nothing wrong with that, or Joe creating yet 3 more. So Joe works and 3 other people in his town. And so that's what it is. It's an encouragement. It would be hard if you owned a business and you got taxed on really money you didn't make, right? If you ran a business and you had to buy, let's say you're a landscaper and you bought a lawnmower and a truck and all these things, if those weren't write-offs, you would have a hard time making money because, you'd be paying taxes on money that you really didn't earn. That all went to expenses. So that's what a write-off is. They're very powerful. Do people abuse write-offs? Maybe they shouldn't. Write-offs are very legitimate. You don't take a write-off for something that's not used for the business. For example, if you said I had $50,000 in expenses, so that should not get taxed, you wouldn't include vacations to Paris with your family. That's not important to your business unless it was. So that's it. That's what a write-off is. They're really cool and powerful, and it's one more sort of piece of evidence that owning a business is a great not only lifestyle but also financially. It makes a lot of sense to own a business, and one of them is because of this concept of write-offs. I hope that helps.